Hello, everyone. I'm here with George Kurian, CEO of NetApp. He joined NetApp in 2011, and he became CEO in 2015. George, thank you for spending a few minutes with me. I have to start with something funny, okay? Two things. One is, this is the first conference I checked out where we have both twins, George and Thomas Kurian, speaking. You're on our website, which we're super excited. I'm actually going to be talking to Thomas a little later. That's the first part that I think is great, and get a smile on your face. But the other part was, I knew you went to the same, we grew up in the same town in Bangalore, and you went to the rival school, St. Joseph's. I mean, we were rivals, but now I'm really glad that we're partners.
Thank you for having me, Sanjay. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. Hey, let's start with the transformation that you've been doing in NetApp. It's phenomenal. Like, both the team, the technology, the strategy, especially in the cloud. Tell us what you've been doing the last, 6, 7, 8 years.
We saw very early that customers would want to have hybrid multi-cloud architectures, and we were the pioneers in taking our core intellectual property, our software and systems technology, and embedding it natively in the biggest hyperscalers in the world, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. And what it has allowed our customers is to be able to build what we call a data fabric, which is the evolution of how you think about data infrastructure, from being in a single central data center to now in a distributed model that includes multiple clouds. And that's been sort of the evolution of our technology architecture for clients, and in alignment with their evolution, as well as the business model. We have a cloud business model, which we've grown to more than 600 million
Phenomenal.
over the last few years.
Wow. And you were the first, the storage space, to really embrace that, right?
Yeah, I think one of the core tenets of NetApp has been, you have to be willing to disrupt yourself if you want to serve your clients well, because you have to put the client interest at the center of the the discussion. And so we've had to evolve our business model, our technology portfolio. Our team is now a much more globally led organization. And you just have to be comfortable with being change ready.
Yeah, I watched this from VMware looking, and I remember telling our executive team it was really impressive, the transformation we're doing related to the cloud. Now, and it's multi-cloud. You don't favor one cloud over the other. Your customers can go to any of those clouds and get those types of, I know FSx that's one of the services at AWS. You have similar relations with all the key clouds.
Correct. Our view is the choice that the customer makes about their cloud provider is their choice. We want to enable our technology equally to be capable on all the clouds. Different cloud providers, of course, have different industries and applications that they prioritize on their cloud, and so we work with them around the right workload priorities for them.
One of the things that's been super important to me now in my new role as CEO is to really build a strong relationship with you. Many of our customers are joined, and one of the first meetings I had in my first week here on the job was to bring you here to our corporate headquarters and said, listen, I want to build the trust with you and your team, and to integrate into your technology, because it all starts with not just Barney level relations with integration. Tell us about SnapDiff and some of these core capabilities that you built in, because we're going to be integration. Our goal, I'll tell you once we've talked about it, is how deep we want to integrate. What do those technologies do, and how do they benefit customers?
First of all, we recognize that customers benefit when their technology providers work together to make their use of our mutual technologies easier. I'm excited about the work we've done around SnapDiff v3, which is available as part of ONTAP 9.13.1, which is shipping imminently. I just went to the celebration of sort of the early preview
It doesn't
stage.
ship on 9.13. It ships imminently. Good. I like that. Okay. People don't have to wait till September 13th.
So
okay.
We're excited about
That's
that.
great.
And, I think the core idea of SnapDiff v3 is that we can enable clients to have control planes from, multiple vendors, including yourselves, but leverage the data plane technology of NetApp so that the overall solution that we both provide leverages our mutual strengths. I think it brings more efficiency, it brings faster protection and recovery. And so overall, I'm really excited about us having a joint solution that delivers value to customers.
Well, listen, we want to be the best in the data protection space to integrate with SnapDiff v3 and any other technology. So In fact, some of our engineering leaders have history of working with your team before, so we're going deep with that. We're very committed to that. How do you view the data protection space and how this partnership should evolve?
Yeah, listen, I'd be interested in your perspective as well, since you're, now the leader of one of the significant companies in this space. I think, be curious to understand multi-cloud especially moves the protection angle from being around, network and perimeter-based security to really around how do you protect your core intellectual property, which is data. That's really what the bad guys are after. So I'd be curious about that.
Listen, I think it's very similar to your perspective. In fact, I would say we're taking a page out of learning from you, which is you have to have a multi-cloud view of the world very early. And I think the starting point to what Mohit and the founders here built was that multi-cloud architecture 8, 9, 10 years ago, so that it could run in a private cloud. Most often the most dominant workload we protect is VMware, very similar to the VMware and NetApp type of partnership. So, and the largest customers of VMware, like banks and federal customers in healthcare, use Cohesity. We start there. But typically then you're starting to either move workloads or run that same data protection in some kind of cluster in AWS Azure. So we built this to be multi-cloud capable, and we have customers who are now using our capability in their tenant in AWS, Azure, Google, Oracle. And over time we could do, private clouds too. We've just announced a strategic deal with IBM, so they'll OEM us too. But then there's some customers who want a backup as a service, a SaaS service. We've now built that for AWS and Azure. And the ability to back up certain SaaS apps like M365. So I think the general long-term goal is to cover every workload. Typically, the top three we see are VMs, databases, apps like M365. And then over time, I believe there'll be many infrastructure as a service workloads, AWS and Azure, the top two, and then over time, Google. So that's our view. And then alongside that, we have to ask ourselves, how do we intersect with the NetApp type of services? Whether it's in a private cloud setting or when your folks are sitting inside a cloud service. So, my view is that in many of these verticals we're successful, financial services and federal, you're there. And that's the reason I'm super excited about taking this message to joint customers. Maybe we could talk a little bit about, the future and where do you see this world going? Because a lot of what we're also intersecting in much of this is not just storage, but security. Ransomware protection's been a tailwind for us. Are you seeing discussions now where you're talking to CIOs where this is a blended storage and security type of discussion?
Absolutely. I think data is the cornerstone of the modern organization. I think if you look at a 21st century organization, it leverages capabilities like software and applications to deliver a customer or employee experience. It uses multi-cloud as the IT platform, and it is increasingly AI, deep learning enabled to be able to provide differentiated understanding of their key stakeholders. And data is the foundation stone of all of that. I think as it becomes ever more important, protecting it in a more coherent manner becomes a key aspect of our, kind of joint value propositions. And it's a problem that is a rich problem space because there's so much to do. We clearly have, clients who want to have the ability for the storage environment to be automatically self-protecting rather than to have, kind of rely purely on perimeter or host-based security because the data is sitting on the systems. And they say, hey, if you guys can integrate protection right where the data is stored and recovery right where it's stored, that's a key value proposition. And so I think there's plenty of opportunity in this space to evolve along multiple vectors.
Great. Well, one final question, okay? Imagine you and I go on a sales call and the CIO is watching this. What message would you want them to hear about this partnership?
I think what you'll hear us say is that NetApp has, for a long period of time, demonstrated the ability to work with multiple clients and multiple vendors because we recognize customers benefit from that. And we're committed to working closely with you guys to continue to evolve our solutions to meet our customers' needs.
That's exactly what it is. So I want you to hear that. This is the first time we're having NetApp at a major Cohesity conference, and I'm proud of that. It was a priority to me from the get-go to build a super strong relationship with NetApp. I've known George, I respect him. tremendously for his vision and all he's done at NetApp. We worked extremely closely at VMware. It's a tremendous honor for us to be doing that. And for you customers watching, it's all about that joint customer relationship. So thank you, George, for spending a few minutes with us today. I look forward to making many of our joint customers extremely successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.